What's up, Cardfighters? Today I'm bringing you a very special deck profile for Stinger in Premium. Let's get right into it. So for my trigger lineup, I am doing 11 crits, 1 over trigger, and 4 heal triggers. And for my starter is the V starter, on where I draw a card and get a quick shield. As with my giraffe deck profile that I did not too long ago, I am going the aggressive route with this deck. I find this deck to be more aggressive than giraffe in this particular build, depending on how the game state goes for me. So if you don't know what the crits are by now, it is 4 of the crit sentinel, 4 stride fodder, 3 crits at GB1, go and still draw a card, 1 over trigger, and 4 heal guardians. So for my grade 1 lineup, I'm running 3 high class moth, 1 OG brilliant blister, 3 stealth millipedes, 3 little Dorcas, 1 V brilliant blister, and 3 phantom blacks. Moth is one of the best grade ones we have in the game for Mech Colony, just to rest itself. Bottom deck a normal unit, countercharge, stop the intercept. OG Blister stops the Vanguard from restanding. Stealth Millipede I am enjoying a lot more as we get new stuff. When Stealth Millipede attacks, or the boosted unit he boosts attack hits into soul to countercharge 1. If he is at rest, my opponent's rearguards in his column cannot stand. The into soul to countercharge is a mandatory effect, but I find it worth it for what I can do with it in this deck. Little Dorcas is Little Dorcas on place, Vanguard Rearguard, top 5 searcher, look for a grade 3 and discard 1. V Brilliant Blister, a fantastic card. I could not again praise Booster of 4. When it's placed on Guardian Circle, Soul Blast 1, discard a card. If your opponent's Vanguard is at rest, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, force rest it, and it cannot stand for the rest of this turn. Phantom Black is going all the way back to the very first set of Mech Colony in V era. When this unit boosts, discard a card from your hand. He gets 6,000 power, and your opponent cannot call normal units from hand, which makes it fantastic for the aggression because then you are forcing them to waste G-Guards and trigger units from their hand. And once you start seeing enough of them in the drop zone or damage zone, Phantom Black is going to come swinging in to close the games very easily. For my grade 2 lineup, I am running 4 Machining Armor Beetle, 2 Mega Lancer, 3 Machining Mantis, and 4 Bloody Hercules. Machining Armor Beetle is again a fantastic card for Mech Colony. It's great for locking down your opponent with force rest and stunning them, and preventing them from boosting or intercepting if he's at rest. Now this is where Stealth Millipede comes into play. You can use Machining Armor Beetle to rest the Stealth Millipede and stun a rearguard in the opposite column of him. Now so that when he swings 15 anywhere, the opponent can no longer intercept nor boost in his column, but since Millipede is at rest behind him, they can no longer stand that column. So essentially, for resting one Millipede, you are shutting down a whole column and stunning another rearguard. So realistically, it's rest a rearguard, get 6,000 power, and stun 3 rearguards just for that. You can also use Machining Armor Beetle skill to rest a copy of himself, to stop pesky boosters in other columns. So you can move or call a Armor Beetle into the back row, rest that Armor Beetle in the back row with another Armor Beetle skill, and now you have locked out another column from boosting or intercepting. Mega Lancer is still a great card to have in all of Mech Colony, in my personal opinion, for also my own playstyle. When he attacks, 2k for every rested rearguard your opponent controls, move a rearguard to stall, and completely lock out intercepting for the rest of the turn, which is fantastic because sometimes those intercepts make a big difference in your opponent's guarding. Machining Mantis, on place, Vanguard rearguard, counterblast 1, check top 6 for a grade 3, add it to your hand, and you get 6,000 power. He's very necessary for my build because of my grade 3 lineup. Other than that, still a really good card to help you dig out specific grade 3s you need in the early game. Bloody Hercules is a necessity in this build, specifically because I use a lot of counter blasts with this deck. When he's placed on rearguard circle, Soul Blast 1, he gets 6,000 power. Vanguard and rearguard skill. When his attack hits, countercharge 1 and give another unit 6,000 power. Very great to help power up your other rearguards to demand more cards out of your hand for guarding, including with the Phantom Blacks being the boosters. And for my grade 3s, as all you can see, I'm only running 6 grade 3s, 4 Stingers and 2 Scissors. The reason why I opted for such a small grade 3 count is to make up for the aggression of the early game as much as possible. Because with Stinger skill, they're all Vanguard skill only. So on attack, counterblast 1, eat a rearguard into soul, and until the end of his battle, All of your opponent's trigger effects are yours. So you are stealing your opponent's triggers and giving them to yourself. You get a heal, you heal. Draw, crit, etc., etc. Soul Blast 1 grade 3. Heal your opponent up to 2 damage and deal them 2 damage. So that way it increases your chances of stealing triggers. What's nice about it is that his other Vanguard effect is during your turn, when a card goes into your opponent's damage zone, he gets 10,000 power. And my God, can that make a big difference? So you might be like, but you're only running 6 grade 3s. How are you going to get this skill off consistently? What I forgot to mention is that High Class Moth counts as a grade 3 in deck and in soul. So you can use Moth skill, rest, countercharge, and then eat this Moth into soul for Stinger skill, and then proc his Soul Blast effect to heal your opponent 2 and deal him 2. Also, you choose the damage, not your opponent. So you can heal them 2 face-up damage and not give them the counterblast back. With Scissor skill, if he's in the drop zone, at the end of the battle that your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacked, if your opponent had a card going to the damage zone, counterblast 1 and superior call him. Then, auto rearguard. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, Soul Blast 1, give Scissor 10,000 power and restand one of your rearguards. I find this card more useful in Stinger than any of the other Mechani builds because of Stinger's ability to just put cards into the damage zone, which procs it easier. Scissors is a great grade 3 target for Little Dorcas when you check the top 5. Because if you see him, all you gotta do is just discard him to the drop zone, and you're already set for Scissors to come out at any time in the game. For my G zone, I am running 4 Mariagantas, our brand new stride that was announced in Premium Collection 2022, 3 Overwhelms, 3 Gridoras, 1 Tyrantus, 1 Grisefort, 1 Featherwall, 2 Crowweeble, and 1 Relish Lady. The reason why I dropped Gridora down from 4 to 3 is because I am in love with our new stride. It is a fantastic stride. From all my playtesting with it, I don't even see myself going to Gridora as much as I used to, unless the specific deck I'm facing demands Gridora to come out of the G zone. If anything, all the playtesting I have done, I have won all my games with Overwhelm, flipping the new stride up, or just sitting. So I find myself winning my games more with going to Overwhelm to flip over our new stride, or using the new stride on Vanguard and then flipping copy of himself up to use both skills on Vanguard and in G-Zone. For those of you that don't know, our new stride is, when he's on Vanguard Circle, flip a card in our G-Zone face up, retire a stand rearguard our opponent controls, countercharge 1, and draw a card. If no cards were retired, minus opponent's Vanguard by 10,000. In the G-Zone, it is counterblast 1, eat a rearguard into soul, and then do the effects. So I find this to be a little more aggressive because you use Overwhelm to draw more cards for all the rearguards, or go crit and quad and then minus them by power to make it harder to guard. Gridora is nice to do her skill into our new stride. That is a possibility that you can do. But as I said, I see myself closing more games with Overwhelm and the new stride over Gridora. Because with our new stride, you don't need a counterblast to do on the Vanguard Circle. So if you have no counterblast, you can just stride into him and pop off with his skill. And with our new G guard that we got, it's on Guardian Circle, Soul Blast 1. He gets 30,000 shield, and your opponent can rest a certain number of rearguards to reduce its shield by 10k. Sometimes they won't rest rearguards because they want to try and continue the offense. But if they rest their rearguards, yeah, you lose shield value, but you're reducing the number of attacks and potential boosters. And then by them resting stuff, you can drop Brilliant Blister to add on to more rested units. Other than that, that's my G-Zone. That's the way I'm running it. So let's see what we can do with our new stride. So here's why I try and do a lot with this deck. I try and have a decent sized board, and 1 or 2 copies of our new stride in the G-Zone face up. And I won't stride. So what I'll do is, I will counterblast 1, eat a rearguard up, minus it by 10,000 power. Then, what I can do is call Bloody Hercules with its skill, Soul Blast 1, give himself 6,000 power. Then, let's say, for example, I call the into Soul Crit, and all their units are at rest. Little Dorcas gets his 5k buff. The Little Dorcas column with the crit trigger swings for 17 by itself. And against a Excel and Protect deck, that's going to demand a 20k shield just to stop it. So, let's go down the line here. Let's say you minus them by 10,000 because you ate the rearguard up. So, you're going to go swing, try and deal the damage. That didn't work. Swing Bloody Hercules for 15. Try and get that counterblast back. So then you swing in with Stinger. use the crit trigger skill into soul to draw a card. Then use Stinger skill, counterblast 1, eat a rear guard up, then use Soul Blast to grade 3. Heal your opponent 2 damage, dealing 2 points of damage. Then if you get any triggers, he's going to be an additional 20,000 power. Any triggers you get, put onto Bloody Hercules, who's already 15. Because if your drive check reveals, because let's say you get a critical trigger and a grade 1. Alright, twin drive's decent. You give all your trigger effects onto the Bloody Hercules, including if they PG'd it. Because you put cards into their damage zone, you're going to counterblast 1, call out the scissors, use scissor skill, soul blast 1 to restand your Bloody Hercules, and scissors is now 22,000. Hercules has all the trigger effects, his own 6k buff, and he's got the Phantom Black in the back row. So you go swing again with scissors, then you'll swing with the Phantom Black for the Bloody Hercules, discard a card from your hand. Now they can no longer go with normal use from the hand, so you must depend on triggers and G guards if they have those in their hand still. Because if they didn't have a PG, they wasted all their potential triggers to stop the Stinger from killing them, but then they won't have enough to stop the rest. So this is very great aggression just from our new stride. And I tend to do this a lot when I can, because stealing their triggers and going for the late game push is fantastic. So for the early game rush, if you put in 3 damage before you get the Stinger, hopefully you're able to close the game right there and then. Because of how this is going to work, you're going to use Machining Armor Beetle skill, rest the Millipede, stun a rear guard in his column, then Millipede's going to shut down the column in front of him. You're going to swing with scissors to try and deal a damage to them, so that way Stinger gets his power-up bonus. Then you're going to swing with Machining Armor Beetle to, again, try and get the damage to proc. That doesn't work, that's fine, you're still golden. Then you'll swing with a boost using Stinger skill, counterblast 1, move scissor into soul, soul blast him out. Then you use Phantom Black skill, discard a card from your hand, get 6,000 power and no normal units. Now they must drop their heal guardians or anything like that in order to try and live. And this is if you're going first for grade 3, which this is why I run the 11 crits. Because if you heal them 2 damage and then you get a critical trigger, you will give that crit to Stinger and all the effects. You will not give anything to the Machining Armor Beetle, because now you're putting them from 3 to 5. If your drive check determines you're going to get, so if your opponent decides to no guard the Vanguard, if you go, for example, first check no trigger, second check critical trigger, just give it to the Vanguard. If they no guard, go on Vanguard, and that ends the game right there and then. Because they can no longer heal out of Venom Stinger's effect, because you will steal all their triggers until the end of his battle, and his battle ends as soon as they stop taking damage. So they cannot 6 damage heal out of the game. So Stinger can instantly close the game there. Let's say they do guard it, right? Or let's say you don't get the crit to kill him. You still give the crit to the Vanguard, and you give the power to the Armor Beetle, because you're still going to steal all the triggers, because you're still going to get all the trigger effects that they take from Stinger's hit. Then you do this. Counterblast 1. Call scissors from drop. Soul Blast 1. Restand the Armor Beetle. Armor Beetle has as many triggers on it that you felt like giving him if you felt like you were not going to close the game, or if you were pushing for endgame right there and then. Then you go 22. Then you swing with the Armor Beetle with the Phantom Black. Discard a card from your hand, and rinse and repeat. 6,000 power to Armor Beetle, and they can't guard with normal units. And if they don't have the triggers in hand to stop whatever Armor Beetle is, you just end the game there. Other than that, that is how I build the deck. Hit hard, hit fast, and try and kill them before they get to grade 3 with Stinger skills and the amount of crits in the deck. If I can't kill them early enough, I have Overwhelm and New Stride to put on more pressure. That is my deck profile for Stinger Premium. And we'll see what happens with the deck when we get reveals for Mega Colony in the clan selection coming up. Until next time, everybody, stay safe.